helping a skinny horse gain weight. When you got a horse that's looking a little too lean, ribs showing, hip bones jutting out, you might wonder how to pack some weight on them. Sometimes it's as straightforward as upping the calories they're eating each day. But for other horses, it's not that simple. Maybe they've got a medical condition, they're stressed out, or their living situation isn't helping. Whatever the reason, getting a thin horse back to a healthy weight takes some know-how. Let's break it down step by step. Why some horses stay skinny, what their body needs to gain weight, and how to use diet, specifically fiber, starch, and fat, to get them looking and feeling better. What makes a horse a hard keeper? Every horse is different, and a big part of that difference comes down to metabolism. Metabolism is how fast a horse's body turns food into energy to keep everything ticking, breathing, moving, staying warm. A horse with slow metabolism is an easy keeper. They don't need much food to stay plump. Feed them a handful of hay and they're set. But a horse with a fast metabolism, that's a hard keeper. They burn through calories like a furnace. And keeping weight on them can feel like a full-time job. This metabolic speed varies wildly between breeds. Thoroughbreds, for instance, are often fast burners. They need more food per pound of body weight than, say, a hefty draft horse like a Clydesdale, which tend to have a slow metabolism. But it's not just about breed. Even within thoroughbreds, you'll find some that stay chubby with minimal effort, while others waste away unless you're constantly tweaking their diet. It's like people, some can eat cake all day and stay slim, while others gain a pound just looking at it. Temperament ties into this too. A nervous, fidgety horse, maybe one that paces a stall or weaves back and forth, burns more energy than a laid-back, zen-like horse that stands still and naps. Picture two horses eating the same amount. The anxious one might be burning off calories with every twitch, while the calm one stores them as fat. So, if your horse is a bit of a worrier, they might need extra food just to break even. Why thinness matters and what it looks like. A skinny horse isn't just an aesthetic issue. It's a sign something's off. Their diet needs to provide enough energy, calories, to power their body's basic functions and, ideally, build some fat and muscle reserves. When horsemen talk about energy here, they're not talking about a horse that's bouncing off the walls. It's about the fuel from food that keeps the body humming, and with any luck, add some padding. If a horse isn't getting enough calories or protein, their body starts raiding its own stores. It'll break down muscle tissue for protein and melt away fat for energy. You'll see the results. A horse that's emaciated, with ribs you can count, a backbone that sticks up like a ridge, and hips that look sharp enough to cut glass. Muscle definition fades, and they start looking frail. Flip that around, feed them more calories than they need, and the body shifts into building mode. Excess energy gets tucked away as fat or used to rebuild muscle. The goal with a thin horse is to tip that balance. Increase calories while making sure there's enough protein to support muscle growth, not just fat. The three big players for adding energy to a horse's diet are fiber, starch, and fat. Each one works differently in the body, and depending on your horse, one might be the key to success. Fiber, the foundation of a horse's diet. Fiber is king in the horse world. It's what their digestive system is designed for. Think grass, hay, and pasture. Some horses, the easy keepers, can thrive on fiber alone, munching their way to a healthy weight without much fuss. But for hard keepers, fiber by itself might not be enough to pack on the pounds. That doesn't mean it's useless, though it's still the safest, most natural way to boost energy, and there are tricks to make it work harder. Plants are made of fiber components: cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. Inside a horse's hindgut, the cecum, and colon, trillions of microbes get to work on this stuff. They ferment cellulose and hemicellulose into volatile fatty acids, VFAs, which the horse's body absorbs into the bloodstream. These VFAs either get used right away for energy, like powering trot around the paddock, or get stored as fat or muscle glycogen for later. Lignin, though, it's the tough guy of the trio. Microbes can't break it down, so it passes through, offering no energy. Here's where it gets practical. The more lignin in a feed, the less energy your horse can squeeze out of it. Young, tender plants like spring grass or hay cut before it gets woody have low lignin and high digestible fiber. Mature plants like late season hay with stiff, thick stems have more lignin and less usable fiber. Take alfalfa, for example. Its soft, leafy parts are low in lignin and packed with digestible fiber, while the stems are lignified and tougher to break down. A bale of alfalfa with more leaves and stems, or grass hay cut young and green, will give your horse more energy than a coarse, stemmy batch. Pasture is a fiber gold mine too. It's often more digestible than hay, because the drying process for haymaking strips away some of that good stuff. When pitting alfalfa against grass hay, high-quality alfalfa usually wins in the energy department. Its digestible fiber content is higher. But don't be fooled. A low-quality alfalfa full of stems might lose out to a lush, leafy grass hay. Step one for a thin horse is simple. Maximize forage quality. Get them the youngest, leafiest hay, or the best pasture you can find. What if great hay or pasture isn't available or your horse turns up their nose at it? You've got options. Beet pulp is a fiber superstar. About 80% of its fiber is digestible, compared to 50% in average hay. It's a go-to for adding energy without overloading the gut. Soy hulls, the outer skin of soybeans, are another solid choice, slightly less digestible than beet pulp but still effective, and common in commercial feeds. Wheat bran brings a mix of digestible fiber and starch, making it a rich energy source, though its high phosphorus needs balancing with calcium-rich feeds like alfalfa. Alfalfa pellets or cubes, made from prime-cut alfalfa, are another easy add. Just don't ditch long stem hay entirely, since it keeps the gut moving. You can even tweak fiber digestion with supplements. Yeast, for instance, has been shown to help those hind-gut microbes work more efficiently, boosting energy from forage. Some feeds come with yeast baked in, or you can buy it separately to sprinkle on top. Probiotics, live beneficial bacteria, might help too, especially if the gut's microbial balance is off. They're thought to stabilize things, improving fiber breakdown. There are even combo products with yeast and probiotics for maximum gut support. Starch, the classic calorie kick. For ages, horsemen have reached for grains, oats, corn, barley to fatten up a skinny horse. Starch, the main energy source in grains, is a fast track to calories. In the small intestine, an enzyme called amylase breaks starch into simple sugars, which zip into the bloodstream. Those sugars either fuel the body right away or get stored as fat or glycogen. It's efficient pound for pound. Grains deliver more energy than hay, so you don't need to feed as much. But starch is a double-edged sword. Too much can wreak havoc on a horse's gut. If there's not enough amylase to handle it, undigested starch spills into the large intestine and ferments. That's less efficient fermentation, produces fewer calories and enzymatic digestion, and it drops the gut's pH, stressing the fiber-digesting bacteria. In bad cases, it can lead to colic or laminitis, a crippling hoof inflammation. Grains aren't all the same, either. Oat starch is small and easy for amylase to tackle, making it a gentler option. Corn and barley starch, though, are bigger and tougher unless they're processed. Steam-rolled barley, steam-flaked corn, or pelleted feeds, which use heat, make the starch more digestible. When shopping for a commercial mix, check the label for processed grains to keep digestion on track. The real danger with starch is overdoing it. When a horse won't gain, it's tempting to heap on more grain. But there's a breaking point. Too much upsets the gut's delicate microbial balance. The horse might stop eating hay, and instead of gaining, they lose more weight. Rule of thumb, a horse needs at least 1% of its body weight in forage daily, 10 pounds for a 1,000-pound horse, to keep the gut stable. Build the rest of the diet around that minimum. Some horses are starch sensitive, especially if they produce low amylase or get big meals of unprocessed grains. Excess starch ferments into lactic acid, acidifying a hindgut, killing good bacteria, and releasing toxins that can spark colic or laminitis. For these horses, a hindgut buffer like EquiSure can stabilize pH on a grain-heavy diet. Starch digestion supplements exist too, like added amylase, though proof of their worth is shaky. The stomach's acid might destroy the enzymes before they reach the small intestine. Chromium yeast is another option, tweaking how the body handles starch's sugar rush and reducing issues like laminitis or tying up in grain-sensitive horses. Fat, the powerhouse for weight gain. Fat's a modern marvel for hard keepers. Most performance horses get some corn oil, rice bran, linseed, or high-fat feeds, originally for glossy coats, but now for its energy punch. It's super concentrated, doesn't hype horses up like starch, and boosts stamina. Introduced slowly, it's gentle on the gut and a lifesaver for packing on pounds. Vegetable oils, corn, soybean outshine animal fats in taste. Horses love them and digestibility. 95% versus 75%. High doses of animal fat can disrupt the hindgut, causing loose manure. Other fat sources include stabilized rice bran, a fiber-fat combo perfect for muscle and condition, linseed, sunflower seeds, roasted soybeans, and coconut meal. Seeds and soybeans work in moderation, too much, and horses balk or the diet gets too protein heavy. Fat shines brightest when mixed with grains or digestible fibers like beet pulp, cutting grain reliance while boosting calories. New feeds blend high fat, over 6%, with fibers like soy hulls or beet pulp. Just keep good hay or pasture in the mix. The final word. Some horses are born hard keepers, cursed with fast metabolisms, while others struggle from illness, stress, or poor conditions. Upping their calories isn't rocket science, but it takes care. Play with fiber, starch, and fat, adjusting amounts and combinations until you hit the sweet spot. With patience and a tailored diet, even the boniest horse can round out into a picture of health.